Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Good. I'm testing out a new audio deal today. I've been having problems with my audio working through my phone, and I have to unconnect everything and just go off my laptop. So I've got me an external microphone, and so we just did a test. It seems to be working. So that's I won't have to unplug everything now. Oh, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. All right. Well, let me share my screen. I got to pull up something. Move that out of the way. All right. Hello? Yes. I'm good. Hope you are. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hold 1 second. Let me mute here.
Dr. Revis, how's your vacation going?
Well, we leave in the morning, so I'm looking forward to it.
We got a lot of students putting some work in, don't we?
Oh, yes, they're working me to death.
I got my first assignment today from one of ours who has turned in nothing but one thing. I got my first thing today, so I was real thrilled. Maybe she'll be a late bloomer. Maybe.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
Let's just hope.
Yeah, it would be really a shame if she got this far and blew it here at the end.
That's true. Hey, Anita. Hey, everybody. Everybody's muted. I know Danny's not muted because Danny's always talking.
It's doing crazy mess. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
It's probably that sandstorm from Sahara, Africa, I bet.
Is that it?
Interfering with your reception down there in the coast.
Hey, Danny Stedman.
Hey, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well. I miss you.
Good. Well, we'll hopefully be back together soon.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Let me see. I don't know what this is doing.
How many we got here? Let's see. Let me do the gallery view. All right, we've got a big crowd. Welcome, everybody. I see that it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being with us. Summer's going exceptionally smooth. Everything is good. I've got all of our statistics into DPI for the year. So we're good on that. We've got our re-up for another, I guess, for another year or 2 years, 3 years or whatever on that. So we've got them happy. It's been all the data into them. We've done our ALA for the fall already. So we're good for the university, for SACs. We're good on that. So we've got all those things done. So I'm happy to be through with all those things. A couple of new items. As you know, this COVID has really slowed down our recruiting efforts from our paid recruiter, KTA. I don't want to get into too much of a political discussion, but I don't think they were doing a lot already. And so we seem to be doing fine, but our doctoral programs are not. They've really suffered from lack of recruiting since February. And so you're trying to figure out what we need to do to try to support them, because, you know, if they die, we die. And so I don't know, you know that I'm the least creative person you've ever met. I am not a curriculum person. And so I don't know. I'll just say it came to me in a dream, for lack of a better word. Quite seriously, I woke up a couple of Sundays, I guess it's 3 weeks ago on Sunday, I woke up and it came to me that maybe the way that we could support them was to accelerate some of our add-ons from this semester into the doctoral program in the fall. And so I called Steve Laws on Monday morning, and we started this process, and by the Thursday we had DPI approval, and we've been working through all of those kinds of things. And then here on campus, SOE, School of Ed vote. It's a professional ed committee right now for a vote, and if they pass it, it's going to go into the catalog. So we've been working on catalog revisions. And so what we're trying to do is take some of our best 603s, and we're accelerating them in our shells this summer already to try to have them at least through the cap. And so instead of taking 605 in the fall, they'd take 730 and start their doctoral programs. And this would have to finish out. They'd still get their license in December on time, but it'd save them about $3,000. That's our incentive to get them to go ahead and commit for another 56 hours in the doctoral program. Now, we're doing pretty good word of mouth and just general population wise in Charlotte, but we're really struggling on the East Coast and in the West to get any cohorts going there for our doctoral, our LS program. We're also supporting our EDCI program through this, allowing them the same thing. So I'll share my screen. So this is simply the proposal. Let me get that one off. Let me go to get rid of that. And so let me close some of these things and pull. All right, so here's what the catalog version would look like. Students who have successfully completed 601 and 3 can satisfy the final course 605 by enrolling and successfully completing EDLS 730. The candidate they have to finish their evidence in 698, and it does say evidence. We're not going to let them go if they've not completed the cap, because you know the SOP, there's no new work, there's no peer review, there's none of that. And so if we can get them through the cap this summer, and I've already got 3 that are completely through that are wanting to do this. I've got several. We've had 14 students indicate they'd like to do this. And we're specifically hoping to look mostly at the East Coast to get some students. We'd like to make a cohort out in Goldsboro again. We've taught that one out. And right now we're only looking at Charlotte. So we're trying to get a cohort going back out in that part of the world. And so they'd be in the doctoral program. You can read this. And so we're going to try to, it'll be a every fall kind of thing, even from the ones finishing in this, that would normally finish in the summer. They can take a pass on 605, take 730 in the fall. This is it won't hurt our numbers, but it would really help them now that the rule has changed. Starting with this fall, you got to have 10 doctoral students to start a cohort. That's up from 6. And that's really putting a strain on our doctoral programs to make cohorts in different parts of the state. Now, we'll still do fine in Charlotte, but really we're hurting on Western North Carolina making cohorts here on main campus, and Eastern North Carolina making cohorts in Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville, Goldsboro area. And so to try to stem that bleed, and KTA not being able to recruit, really hadn't been able to help us. And so hopefully this is going to help us compete with Western Carolina in the West and Eastern Carolina in the East. As you all know, if our doctoral program dies, that that dies out, we will drop off of the rankings. Without a doctoral program, we won't be in the rankings anymore, and that won't bode well for the MELS program. So this is what we're trying to do. I think hopefully we'll get it passed today or tomorrow and get this, and we're recruiting for it already. got a lot of interest. Now, I've only looked at interest in my 3 sections. The other sections of 603 add-on, will open it up to them if it passes, but I use mine. We have to show a need or an interest in order to get it voted on, and we've done that. So questions or concerns or comments on this?
I have a question that may not even be possible, but for the regular students, so for instance, I have a regular section of 603. I've got some rock star students in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to get some kind of opportunity. Is there anything in the works to even look like for them?
If we can, if you're exactly right. If we can get this through, if we can get this through for this fall, it would be for it would be for the fall. If we get this through and get it up and running, you're exactly right. I told you I'm not very creative, but I can figure out a way to make $1. We're thinking about maybe trying it for the spring for the ones that are in 603 now. We would be recruiting for them in the spring. But if we tried to put that all at one time, I don't know, it would really delay us. We're most concerned if we can get it up running in the fall, we'll definitely probably try to do it in the spring, according to what recruiting looks like. And so instead of, they would take 604 this fall, and then again that we would move them. Now we'll have to get a waiver on them having a master's degree to get them in the doctoral program. That's going to be the piece with that's going to be long and involved. And they may make us do a program change on that, and that takes a good bit longer to do. So this is not a substantive program change. They already have a master's degree. If they make us do that, it can be anywhere from 2 months to 20 months on the approvals. I don't know if we can expedite it or not. So we decided, you're exactly right. We've got some rock stars in 603 regular, but if we can get this going, then we might can use that to leverage them letting us do the regulars in the spring. That is correct. We've kind of thought about that, but it's kind of, it's hard to move folks around here. It takes forever, but you're right. I'd like to see us slingshot more students into the doctoral programs to support them, according to how our recruiting looks. We've got to support our doctoral programs.
Dr. Lamb.
Yes.
So if we have a 603 add-on section, can we talk to them now, or do we need to wait on?
Absolutely. You can start talking to them now about this. I'm going to send this information. I'll send this one out. That yes, I would love. We've got an email, and they can talk to Steve. And he's got an email, and he's talking to them, and we're sending them some materials. We'd love. We're going to go ahead and open it up, because we're in the boat. And I've already prepped our recruiter, Jessica Jones. They're ready in the graduate school. We're working on catalog. This is catalog for them, but I've already read Jessica in, so she'd be knowing to expect to make. I've read the registrar's office in as well. So they would know that it would be okay for them to take 698, 730, and 731 all at the same time. You have to read everybody in around here. So you have to read admissions in, graduate school, and registrar's office. I physically did that all last week. I scheduled meetings with them and actually met with them face to face. Took the risk of getting COVID to meet with them, but to read all of those people in. And so, yes, we can go ahead and start recruiting. Doug, you and Jackie, and also Sarah and Rachel, you can start. If you got, now, we want the best ones. We want ones that not going to need a lot of, that can write their SIP on their own without having to be in class, or we'd like for them to be through the CAP if possible, since that requires peer review and those kinds of things.
Dr.
Yes.
Lamb, the group that Barbara, Dr. Todd has, that 605 group, that is a very, very strong group of students as well.
We've already recruited them. We did that first, and when we didn't get the numbers that we needed from the east and the west, we got a lot of our 605s That's what I mean. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Barbara's got a very strong group of
Yeah.
students.
Yeah, we,
You brought that up.
they didn't do a lot, and so we looked good in terms of, we got a lot of hours coming back already from 605, but it just wasn't enough on either end of the state.
Is it, I don't know what the timing looks like for this, but, and Danny, I'm glad you brought that up. There are several that I'm coaching for Barbara right now, and there are several that I was just thinking, oh, I really want to just, sometimes it just takes somebody saying, hey, have you thought about this? It'll be, you really
Yeah.
successful. So I don't guess it would hurt to kind of double or triple dip and just see if.
Yeah, now what we've done, or what I've done, I don't know if I think I sent y'all all an email. So what I've done, and this might have hurt more than helped. So in each of your 605 shells, I have put this in. I had Steve record us a 4-minute message, and I put it in all of your shells under course overview, so it popped up. I know it kind of scares me. It's kind of like a clown popping up out of a box. It's kind of frightening when you open your class and there's Steve's picture. But this got us about 20. Just doing this. So yeah, we recruited our own and got about 20. He was at about 0 until we started this about 2 months ago. Well, a month or so ago, he was only at like about 5. And so we've gotten 20 now, just from our 605s, but they're all concentrated in Charlotte or somewhere in the area. And so we really would like to make an on-campus cohort if possible from the western part of the state. And we definitely would like to go back to Goldsboro if possible for the eastern part of the state. It's getting pretty aggressive. All these people who, even, I was talking with Jerry last week, even Pembroke, because of COVID and people being forced to go online, they're now seeing, wait a minute, this may be what we have to do in the future. And a lot of colleges are doubling down their efforts now on their online and going to convert a lot of their programs like the MELS program and the add-on to online only and drop the residency piece. COVID has kind of woke them up. And so the competition is just going to get stiffer. Even Pembroke is looking to do an online only program now, and they said they'd never do it. But even they're looking. So the state colleges are that have been kind of on the sidelines other than East Carolina, are now going to get in the game. And that's really going to hurt us on recruiting, especially for our doctoral programs, because we all know that, your master's program feeds your doctoral programs. And so once they start really upping their numbers in their MELS program, they will really hurt us on recruiting for our doctoral programs. And so, we've got to be more intentional about figuring out ways to make sure that we stay where we need to be on them. Now, I won't argue that KTA shouldn't be doing this, but in the words of my friend Jeff Hamilton, nobody's coming. Yeah, no help's on the way. If you don't help yourself during this time, you're not going to survive. So we're doing what we can, and so that's why we're doing what we're doing. I was hoping by postponing until today that I'd have better information for you on graduation. I don't. They've decided that they're going to wait until at least Wednesday to announce what's going to happen. So let me kind of talk you through graduation. So I've got that's not the right one. Here it is. How to apply for graduation. This was sent to all students. Please make sure that everybody in 605, whether you're regular or add-on, has to apply for graduation. Regular master students will pay $150. Add-ons pay $75. Now, certificates, I'm doing a drop ship. I had to do this and get it signed, print it out, scan it, do all this. We're going to have our certificates. We'd only had 2 off cycle from last semester, and we're getting those drop shipped as well. But we obviously have a large group of add-ons this semester that are finishing. We're going to go ahead and drop ship them their certificate. This is from Jostens. We're going to go ahead and have it printed with our name stamped on it and printed and sent from Jostens to their home address. Because right now I am not planning on doing a reception, face-to-face reception, because I don't know what graduation is going to be. So here's where we are on graduation as far as I know right now. Right now, the plan is to do 2 indoor graduations. The pandemic committee has recommended that not happen. They're recommended no ceremony at all, but if they are going to have one, their recommendation is 1 ceremony without the faculty outside at 8 a.m. on Saturday, where they basically just will run them through. And so there is no plan for any kind of a reception or to meet with people in an indoor space. That is the pandemic committee's recommendation, that no face-to-face, but if we do, no faculty outside, no reception. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and have their certificates drop shipped. Now, if they don't do anything, they will drop ship the diplomas as well, for the 30 that we have graduating this semester. We have 68 add-on and 30 masters for a total of 98, and we'll probably have 2 more, so we'll have 100. But regardless, it doesn't look like the faculty will be, if it is face-to-face, if they adopt the pandemic, it'll either be no graduation or 1 outside at 8 a.m. with no faculty. So right now, that's supposedly Wednesday. We'll hear what they're going to do, but I couldn't wait till Wednesday to make different plans. So I've made plans for everything to be drop shipped with no reception. I hate that, but I just had to make the call and move on. Anybody have any questions? I know that's clear as mud, but we'll know Wednesday, but it looks like no faculty either way, unless they go back to their original, which is 2 indoors with faculty, which I don't see that happening at all. So they're supposed to go with 2 options from the COVID pandemic committee, and neither of those include faculty. All right, questions about that? So I've got that done. Jostens has got ours, and so we should be good. Make sure everybody applies. And that brings me to licensure. Dr. Bull and I are still doing licensure. Please remember, everybody has to apply for North Carolina licensure. There is no applying for South Carolina. Remember, we're not a provider in South Carolina. We don't have a brick and mortar. They apply and get their North Carolina license. They follow this. And once they get it, it's $55, Form B. Dr. Bull fills it out. He and I verify. We've been doing that from all the spring people and a couple of others left over. And then once they get their North Carolina, you can go online and see it. They then take the Praxis 5412, excuse me, 5412, and that information is in all the 605 shells on how to take that Praxis and sign up for it. They will need to take that along with their North Carolina license to get South Carolina certified. Now, I have one today. I was on the phone with her. I know they don't want to understand that. They don't think it's worth the $55 to get the North Carolina license. It's not about the work. Without that, they're not going to get South Carolina certified. They have to get a reciprocal license. And so they've got to all apply for North Carolina first. Once they get it, it takes a couple weeks after graduation, takes a week for their transcript, official transcript to be available. Then about another week, and DPI goes ahead and grants it. Then they take that along with their Praxis scores, South Carolina, and get a license there. There is no just applying to South Carolina Department of Education. That is, since we're not a provider, that will not work. And so we've sent them a letter. So hopefully they all understand that. Jamal said, having done it once, it is easy. Once you have your North Carolina, getting to South Carolina is really easy. Thank you for that, Jamal. It's really easy. But trying to get them to grant you one initially without having one from North Carolina, we have to be a provider in that state. We are not. We don't have a brick and mortar. That's the South Carolina rule. We were to the point of signing the contract to do that a couple years back, but it didn't get signed, and so we lost that opportunity. But here is the licensure letter that we've sent all these now. I brought this up to say this. This may change in the next few days in terms of who's in charge. We have replaced Seth with Wendy. She is supposed to come online on Wednesday. Now, how soon she's going to get up to speed doing the licensure piece? Dr. Bull and I have been doing that, and I've been doing TaskStream. She's got to take over TaskStream and licensure. I don't know how long that's going to take for her to get up to speed. So right now, it's me and him. He does Form V, and I do the verification of the TaskStream completion. And so we'll just say that until I tell you differently, send them all to me or to him on the licensure problem. When she gets up to speed, we'll start sending them to Wendy. I don't know how soon we'll get up to speed with Wendy, because we interviewed for Wendy's position and everybody except for one turned down the job because it didn't pay enough. And so we only have one candidate that would work for what we're offering to pay. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. So my suspicion is she won't take over licensure and TaskStream until we get somebody at least in the pipeline to replace her in her job. So, that's where we are on that. So, but we're doing fine. I'm here all the time, and we got plenty of help. Steve and Anita help, and everybody, all y'all help. So we're fine. It doesn't take me that long to do what I need to do in TaskStream. Once you get everything moved around, and hopefully we'll get Wendy at least up to speed by August 1st, so we can start entering our new ones in. And I had Seth build our DRFs for the fall before he left. They're blank. He did get to that. So I do have those, and I can put students in those. So we're good, regardless of our personnel, what happens this summer. So we're where we need to be. So I think that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of busy work this summer. Licensure, graduation, forms, DPI, all the stuff that Seth normally handled has fallen to us to do this summer, but that's okay. I needed to do something to stay out of trouble. And so, okay. All right. Okay. All right, John, that's fine. All right. So, we haven't let any balls drop that I'm aware of. We've been short on personnel, but I think we're good. Anybody have anything they need to share? Again,
Dale.
I've been very pleased with what's going on. Yes.
Let me, on a positive note, I don't know how, when somebody gets a job, one of our former students, Alan Michael Wilson, I don't know who had him in the classes, but he has gotten an AP job.
Wonderful.
In Franklin County at a middle school.
In what county? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe it's Franklin County. He's at a middle school.
I think I had him in a cohort up in Rocky Mount, didn't I have him up there?
Yeah, he's in Rocky Mount area.
Yeah, I had him in a cohort up there.
Okay, just want to let you know.
So that's great news. We also, I think we had the trifecta. Let me see. Let me get out of this. Let me go back to sharing my screen. I believe we had the trifecta, which is, let me go back to this, move that out of the way. All right, so we're working on that. Let's see. It's been crazy all day. Let me get back to, here it is. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Look at here. Threefer. The trifecta. We had 3 of ours got jobs in Winston-Salem.
Great.
Announced June 12th. Tamantha, William, and LaDon. LaDon was mine. these were folks that we had, if any of you used to work with us back in the day when we taught face-to-face, both downtown in Winston in the old Wachovia building, and when we taught face-to-face out at the old Bolton Junior High, they called it, what was that, Forsyth Tech West Campus? If any of you had the pleasure of teaching at that fine facility.
Yeah.
So these were some of ours that came through there. And so great news. If you can get in touch with Alan, Rod, have him send it to me or send it to Jackie Bridges at Gardner Webb. We're trying to publish all of these. This is really helpful in recruiting, I can tell you that.
Okay, I sure will.
When we had last week, we had spotlight on our students last week. That was great as well. Laura Shipman, one of ours from out in Waynesville, all the work that she's been doing out there. And so we try to have something, these come out every Monday, and I've been trying to have something for her. Or, we've been having a lot of good stories lately. So let's see, last Monday.
Flynn just got a position. He's Dr. Todd. He's with Dr. Todd right now, and he just
Who's that?
position. Keith Flynn.
No, Keith. Oh, great. Sean Bach got one in Iredell last Tuesday. And so that's great. And then Amy Fonseca, who's at Pumpkin Center in Lincoln County, she was named Teacher of the Year. She was with me in 603 this summer. And so, yeah, we're trying to get all these things. I refer all of these to Jackie Bridges and try to get in the web that comes out every Monday. Been trying to do that. Let's see. Focus here.
Dale, while you're looking for that, could I ask the session you're going to do on July 21st?
Yeah, I'm going to do interviewing. I've already.
Is it at 6 or 7?
I'll do it I think I'll do that one at 7. Let's see when that. No, wait a minute. That one's at 6, isn't it?
See, I don't remember. I didn't write the time.
That was on my Tuesday night. That was going to be during my last class on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And
7. Okay, I thought you were 6 then. Yeah, at 7. I'd always go at 7.
And
So all of them will be.
Yeah, mine's at 6 o'clock. Yeah, but
Everybody will be invited.
Dr. Lamb, you said you were going.
Yeah, we're going to invite everybody. Everybody's invited for that one.
Okay.
Have you already sent us out the invitation, or are you going to send that out closer to the date?
I'm going to send it. I always wait 2 weeks out on that and then follow up. If you send it before that, they lose it.
Dr. Lamb, we probably just need to do a different invite on that one than my regular Zoom class.
We
invite.
can.
Okay.
We
Danny,
can
what
do
did you
that.
say? Did you say 6 or 7?
7.
Well, whatever Dr. Lamb says.
We'll do it at 7.
Okay.
All right. So Josh Weish got hired in Newton Conover. He's one of our doctorals. Lori's retiring, but we had a really good article on Laura, who was mine. Who's got Laura this semester? I had her last semester. And so,
Never
so
Dr. Right.
she's really good. She's at a charter school in Waynesville, up in Haywood County. And so, but she's really good. So yeah, we're doing that. In a related note, here's our problem on Wendy's position right here. They had to post this. Somehow LinkedIn or Indeed scrapes, and they go out and have a search engine that finds jobs, and they put a salary range on them. Well, they put a salary range on Wendy's job that pays more than a starting professor does at Gardner Webb. And so we had 40 applications. And when we would ask them, I mean, it's right here. I wrote it down. I'm not kidding. The second person we asked what her salary expectation, she wanted $65,000. And she wasn't the highest. We sent the 3 lowest and they were 43, 43, and 40. So that's why we're not hiring anybody. Indeed told them to expect $65,000 for a $27,000 a year job. And so they posted this, but it didn't help. So we had 40 applications, and we worked through all of them and interviewed 10 of them, and the cheapest one is 40. So I don't think we're going to get anybody to replace Wendy anytime soon. So that kind of snafooed on us, but I don't know what you do. So that's where we are. But we're getting some really good publicity. We're trying to have something every week. One of our students getting a job, one of them, some honor they've gotten, teacher of the year, principal of the year, getting jobs. This really helps with recruiting. You know that KTA has not done anything since February. And our numbers are still strong in the MELS program because of word of mouth, our ranking, which is tied to DPI, CAPE accreditation, satisfied customers because of the great job y'all do. We're getting, most of the ones we're getting are people from the same schools where we've got either administrators in place or we've had recent students. So we're not hurting that bad on our recruitment right now, not because KTA is doing a good job, but because we're doing a good job for ourselves. It doesn't work quite as well for the doctoral program. That's why we're trying to help them. We're trying to maximize that, and we're trying to leverage that, our success, to help them, because that helps us in the long run that they stay viable. So that's what we're doing. So it's been pretty busy summer so far, filling in for Seth and Wendy. But I didn't have anything better to do. It's been fine. I'm not whining or complaining, and I'm not trying to pat myself. We're good. We'll get it done regardless of whatever happens, and whether I'm not worried about August. If we don't replace Wendy right away, we'll be fine. We've got things in place, and everybody's read in, and everybody knows what's going on. So more importantly, I appreciate the job you do with our students. The exit surveys are coming in, and I tell you what, they are most complimentary to you folks. I think everyone I've seen, they've ranked the faculty as excellent. The one that we're doing in task stream, the quick and dirty one, and the reflections that are coming in from the 605, they've been most complimentary. And folks, I'm telling you, that's where the recruiting occurs, and how well you treat the ones you've got, and the value that they perceive, that they believe, that they know that they're getting. That's why it's been easy for us to recruit, quite honestly, and all the work that you folks all do. And our numbers look good for the fall. I don't really have, it just goes against my nature to have nothing to complain about. I'll just have to figure something out, I guess, to complain about. Things have been going so good, not wood. I don't want them to go bad, but things are going so well. But yeah, we're down a few, but not many. And I think we're going to make those back up in MELS. So classes look good for the fall. Everything looks good. I'm being redundant, but I can't tell you enough how pleased I am and appreciate the hard work that you do. Anybody have anything for the good of the group before we go? Danny's older than me again, by the way. Danny had a birthday this past week, so he's older than me again.
But Dale will have his next month in July, and he'll be my age again.
Don't tell that now. You weren't supposed to tell that part. Oh, yesterday was my wife's anniversary, 35 years yesterday. So I was at home, and we didn't get to go out, so we ordered out her favorite meal, and then I fixed her most favorite meal last night. So I got to get out of the house again this week. She's happy, so she told me after I fixed her supper last night, I could go back to work this week. So 35 years. And that's the same woman now. You know, that's not cumulative. That's just one. So everything's good with me. I appreciate all your help and support. I will see you again. We may try to meet next week according to how involved the graduation decision is. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks and we'll talk about closing out the semester. I will get you a link out for the interviewing section. We'll do that separately. 7 o'clock.
Dale, it looks like for some reason it is recording on my end, and I have no idea why.
Because I got stuck in traffic and I knew I was going to be in traffic.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering.
And so
Well,
I made you the alternate to go and record.
I'll send it to you then, the link.
All right.
Okay.
I sat in traffic for an hour. I just got here to my office just in time to do this.
Okay.
Y'all have a good week. I'll see you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.